Hi guys, I'm Eileen. If you're into luxury shopping, you've probably watched a lot of expensive unboxing and designer haul videos. I used to love watching the come shopping with me at Louis Vuitton, Dior or Chanel videos because it feels like you're shopping with your favorite blogger without being in the store. So everything just feels so wonderful and exciting about shopping. However, there's another side of shopping that I feel like not many people talk about, and I want to share them with you today. I still enjoy luxury pieces, but I personally think luxury shopping shouldn't be consumed like fast fashion. So I hope this video will be helpful, especially if you're looking to be a more mindful consumer. First of all, the profit margins for luxury items are massive. This is what pays for the sales associates, the amazing service, the fancy packaging, and even the champagne we don't often get to drink. I know luxury items are generally well made, but we sometimes forget we are not just paying for the quality because a lot of the complimentary service has already been factored into the price tags. So the next time you get a free gift, for example, I used to get a lot of sample size body care products from my essay at Hermes. Just remember they are not free, you've already paid for them. To offset these costs, you could consider buying pre-loved because technically someone else has already subsidized the price for you. Now, some of you might say you rather buy first-hand from the store because you don't want to miss out on the experience, which is fine as long as you're making an informed decision. Moving on, in the fashion world, luxury refers to Chanel, Balenciaga, Hermes, Dior, and so on. However, the true luxury in life is financial security and freedom. I feel like this should really get more coverage because buying a Chanel handbag and unboxing it feels really nice, but nothing compares to the feeling of being financially secured. So it's really important to set your priorities right. Regardless of how much you make, using a big portion of your income for shopping is very sabotaging for your finances. I also recommend to never buy anything on credit because not one luxury item in the world is ever worth you getting yourself into debt for. Besides, not carrying any credit card debt is a luxury in itself. Another untold truth about shopping is, if you shop on a very regular basis, it will start to lose its novelty. It's a bit like if you're eating out every day, it will just become a routine because you're just going through the motion. Similarly, if you're constantly shopping and unboxing, buying a luxury handbag will not be a special event anymore. More importantly, this is one very expensive routine to keep up with. So unless if you are a professional collector, try to look for a healthier and more sustainable routine. Another fact I feel like we all need to acknowledge is some people make a living shopping, such as personal shoppers and luxury bloggers with a very big following. Their job is to review luxury pieces and share their shopping experience. So in a way, it's quite understandable for them to have a very comprehensive luxury collection. This is why it's really important to not blindly aspire to anyone you see on social media because we all have different budgets, lifestyles, and personal needs. I mean, not many of us can shop like Paris Hilton or Kim Kardashian. So unless if you're lucky enough to make a living shopping, you most likely do not need as big a collection as what you might see on social media. Something else about shopping that not many people talk about is no one really cares about what we wear. Of course, if we put on a nice dress, we might get a few nice comments, but over the years, I've come to realize no one really pays that much attention to what we put on because everyone is busy with their own lives. Even on social media, we kind of just scroll down our feeds quite mindlessly. If we see something that catches our attention, we might like the picture and then move on. Sometimes we don't even remember why we liked the picture or what the blogger was wearing. If you walk past a stranger today, you might admire the outfit, but you most likely will not worry about if her shoes go with her watch. Don't get me wrong, I still like to dress well because it makes me feel good. But I now value my own comfort a lot more than how people will see me just from what I wear. So certainly dress for the occasion, but don't feel like you need to buy anything just to please others. Another untold truth about shopping is many items will lose their glory the minute they leave the store. This is because they are no longer showcased with the perfect lighting and they don't live in the fancy packaging anymore. If you buy a new iPhone today, you might be over the moon, especially when you get the phone out from the box. However, 2 months later, it will just become your phone. Same goes with a new car, a sweater, or a new makeup product. There are certain items in my collection that I still really love. For example, my Hermes Birkin 25 and the Louis Vuitton mini Palm Spring backpack. That said, there are also many items that I bought which I loved in the store, but when I got home, I never even used them once. So I think it's really important to not confuse wanting something to wanting something new, because the new item will soon become yet another thing in the background. Another truth about shopping is the things you regret buying are usually way more than the things you regret not buying. The thing is, when we look back at the last 10 years of our lives, most of us will not say, I wish I did more shopping, or I wish I saved less money. You more likely will say, I wish I traveled more, or I wish I spent more time with my family. This is really just to put things into perspectives, because I feel like sometimes we focus so much on the things that we might not even care about in 2 years' time. So now when I miss out on something, I always ask myself, will this matter in 2 years' time? And usually in the grand scheme of things, it really doesn't. So when it comes to shopping, be okay with missing out and don't get too upset about it. Another thing no one tells you about shopping is the things you don't buy are the hours you don't have to work. Apart from the very essential things in life, everything else we buy is basically a trade-off for our time. Whether if you're working a job or running your own business, we all need to put in the time to generate money. So when you translate a purchase into how many hours you have to spend working, it will really help you to gauge if a trade-off is worth it. So for example, would you spend 3 weeks working just to buy a Chanel handbag? Or would you much rather use that money and fly to Bali and have 3 massages a day? In fact, please let me know down below, what would you choose, the Chanel or the trip to Bali? Another truth about shopping is buying on sales can sometimes be more expensive than paying full price. Don't get me wrong, I know discounts and coupons can be fantastic for money saving, but only if you shop the sales very intentionally. If you find that you are always buying more than you plan to during sales season, chances are the sales are actually working against you. So for example, you might stock up on 3 bottles of your favorite moisturizer at 30% off. However, after 12 months, you've only used 1 bottle and the other 2 bottles are now nearly expired. In this case, it really would have been cheaper if you just paid full price and bought the 1 bottle. I've been there myself, so I know sales can be very distracting and tempting. So if you think this is a problem, it might be a good idea to turn off sale notifications and just pay full price, because this way it might actually be more sustainable and economical. Moving on, sales are good news, but only if you wanted the item before the sale. In the past, even when I had nothing to buy, I would browse the sales section page after page just to look for a good deal. It might sound ridiculous because I actually wanted to save money by buying things I didn't even want in the first place. Like, it doesn't even make sense. I've learned my lesson though, so now I want to use sales to my good advantage. I personally like having a wish list, because that way, if I come across a good sale for any of the wish list items, I will consider buying it. Otherwise, I'll look no further. Doing this has really helped me to stay focused, and I no longer buy anything just because it's on sale. Something else about luxury shopping that not many people talk about is classic is not always the best. Now, when it comes to luxury shopping, you might notice classic pieces like the Chanel classic flaps or the Hermes Kelly bags tend to keep their values very well, but that doesn't necessarily make them the best investment pieces for your wardrobe. For my own personal collection anyway, I had bought many classic items which didn't work out for me, including the Cartier Love bracelet, Cartier Just Unclued bracelet, Chanel Boy flaps, Chanel Classic Ballet flats, and the list goes on. So while I think it's important to consider resale value, the top priority should still be our personal needs and preferences. It doesn't do any harm to ask for opinions, but don't let that dictate what you should or shouldn't buy. If the item is going in your closet, you should be defining what is timeless for you. There you have it. Those are the truths about luxury shopping that I feel like not many people talk about. And I hope this video has helped you to look at shopping from a different angle. The older I get, the more I value my time and money. While I still enjoy luxury pieces, I don't want to idolize everything designer or be obsessed with the glory that comes with luxury shopping. So I think it's always a good idea to have a more balanced perspective on shopping or any kind of consumptions really. So if you think this video might benefit someone you know, certainly share with them, and let's encourage a healthy way of spending. So that's it from me. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in my next one. Have a nice day.